Yeah, I'm good, man.
You good?
Giggity, giggity.
Am I starting?
Yep.
All right. This is Joshua.
Hey, what's up? This is Dave.
What's going on? This is Brandon, and you're now tuned in to PVD Horror.
This is Dallas Jackson, the writer-director of Thriller on Netflix. Welcome to Sudden Death on Netflix, and you're listening to the PVD Horror Podcast.
Hey, what's good, everybody? You are listening to episode 5 of the PVD Horror Podcast. We are about to just dive right in, and we got something real hot off the press right here. We got the brand new Never Hike in the Snow film that we want to talk about first. We're talking about the movie from Womp Stomp and Vincent DeSanti. Brandon, Josh, tell me, what do you guys think?
I thought it was done really well. We talked about before. We had that event back in Revival. We did the double feature, so it was cool. We were able to sit down with Vincent and go over all the upcoming projects he had, and so we were able to talk about this film. And then now just seeing it like finished and complete, man, I think it's awesome. And like we talked about last time, with the whole situation going on with the Friday the 13th series, with the legal battles, hopefully everything just spins off and then just gets right back on track where they left off. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I really liked it. I'm really glad he went a little different direction. Last time it was a guy basically 1 star through the whole thing, and that was really cool. And this time he really broadened it, and it was even better that Tommy Jarvis was in it. Like I heard that he was in it, but I didn't think of it. And I mean, you can't say Tommy Jarvis, but they did say something else, like Mr. Jarvis or something, I think. And it was just really cool to see that. That was real awesome. That I was like, oh man, and I got super excited.
Yeah.
So to bring that back, sounds like they're going to be, or it looks like it's building up to maybe another one after that, like another one. Or I really hope he gets a show. You know, I would love to see him do a weekly thing with that,
Right.
because I mean, that was really well done for a fan film. That was real good. So
Agreed. I'm in the same line as you, Josh. Like, I feel like this is just setting up more to come. And, I think Brandon and I talked before this a little bit, and we were kind of saying like, oh man, that was so much shorter than I was expecting. But it feels like we're just setting up for something, and I'm like really excited to see what that's going to be. The opening scene in this, for everybody who, I hope everybody gets a chance to watch this. I think you guys will all be in agreement. Like, that was pretty awesome. Like, for a fan film, quote unquote. Like, yeah, I mean, this guy knocks it out of the park, dude. His quality and what he's doing is amazing. And just watching like the thought he put into that kill was pretty cool. So I am a huge fan of what he's doing, the quality that he's putting out there. This is like, he's really raising the bar for what to expect from these fan films. Brandon, so remind me again, the guy in the opening scene, what was his name? And I know he's the oddest of the odd on Instagram.
Yeah, that's Cortland. So yeah, he's from Oddest of the Odd. So if you guys haven't heard of Oddest of the Odd, they're a group of guys that just come up with these cool little short films. They have a YouTube page, and so seeing these two guys just come together and clash, and then just never hike in the snow, I think it's really cool.
So yeah, no, this is great. I definitely think there's a lot of good things to come from this, and I think this is just like, this is an awesome first step for like after that whole like the lawsuit issue shit.
Yeah. Before we go on to the next thing, I just wanted to give a shout out to Vincent's parents who showed up at our horror movie night.
Yeah,
they were awesome, and they didn't even tell us until the very end.
Yeah,
and I was chatting it up with them all night, and man, they were so awesome. And so shout out to them.
Yeah, that was pretty funny because we did a raffle, and Vin had supplied us with like shirts and DVDs and I should say Blu-rays, but like a bunch of like merch. Oh, and it was a winter hat. And his parents ended up winning a bunch of that stuff. And at the very end, his mom ended up giving away like most of the stuff she won. But I can't remember if it was the hat. I think it was the winter hat. She goes, but I'm going to keep this one because he didn't give me one of these already. And the funny thing is, they came to our event to watch that, and they didn't tell him, which I thought was hilarious because we had met with him to set it up and like get approved. Like we wanted him to like give us the okay to do this, and he did that. And so we set the event up, and his parents didn't know. They just saw it in like a newspaper. I guess it was like, I don't know where exactly they saw it, but they saw it somewhere. Decided to check it out, and they were gonna like tell him they went later. So yeah, I just thought the whole thing was like small world Rhode Island. Rhode Island's tiny, coincidence, but pretty funny. All right, so moving on. So yeah, definitely everybody check on Never Hike in the Snow. You can check it out on YouTube. Definitely worth the 25 to 27 minutes. It's well invested. So we want to move on to some horror news. So Brandon, gonna fill us in what's going on in the horror world.
Yeah, we got some new horror news that was kind of posted today. If you're a big fan of Dexter, get ready. He's coming back. He's coming back for a limited series. I think it's 10 episodes for Showtime. So I know a lot of people weren't happy the way it ended and everything like that. So
yeah, I'm gonna
coming back
take it a step
like
further,
a
dude.
Special.
I'm gonna take it a step further.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with the way the last like 2 seasons went. Did you guys watch Dexter at all?
No,
I watched the first few seasons of it.
Yeah,
I liked it, and then I just had too many other shows going on, so I never finished it. It's something I'm gonna go back and finish up. But I definitely liked it.
I absolutely loved that show. Like there was a season with what's the dude from Raising Cain, John Lithgow. There was a season with him. There was a season with Tom Hanks' son, which I can't remember his first name, and those seasons were awesome. Absolutely, was engrossed in that show for a while, and then I don't know, it just kind of fell off after a while because it just felt kind of repetitive, and it just it needed to end sooner. So the last couple of seasons I kind of fell off. I don't even think I finished it actually, but with that being said, I definitely would give this limited release a try, I guess, and see what they're going to go with here.
And then also Amazon is set to produce, because they set to produce a new I Know What You Did Last Summer little series. And I know the CW was also working on getting the Lost Boys. What do you guys think about the whole what all these big films being turned into little TV series?
Well, I'll let you start.
I don't like
Josh.
TV series too much. I watch a couple of TV series with my wife here and there, but I got to be honest. Most of the time, there's the TV shows I watch. They go, and I'm like, man, this is just jumping the shark, and it happens a lot more in horror than I wish.
Wait, Josh, you said it's jumping the shark. You love sharks.
Yeah, I just don't like it when they're jumped. I don't like the Fonz jumping the shark. All right.
You only like your sharks with Santa hats on.
That's right.
Santa Jaws.
Or coming off of a guy's penis.
Oh God. Come on, dude.
There we go. All right, let's get back to some hard news. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, so you know what though? I feel like James Wan has a huge following. There's plenty of people who are sick of his films, but then there's plenty of people who absolutely love those things. I don't know. It depends what it's on and what it looks like for me to decide. Because if it just looks like some teen show, I'm probably not going to end up watching it. I always tell myself I'm going to get around to certain things, and I just never do because they just don't entice me. I don't know how many times I told myself, that Sabrina show that was on Netflix that people were saying was really good. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. I never watched it. In reality, I'm never probably going to end up getting to it. I don't know. The teen drama stuff, I can't really do right now. But we'll see. We'll see what it looks like when it comes out. Maybe all right.
I got one more thing, and I'm pretty sure Josh would appreciate this. If you're a big fan of Tremors, they just released a new 30-minute documentary on YouTube of the first film. And so it's called Tremors Making Perfection. So I was able to watch a little bit of it. You know, you have Kevin Bacon and everybody in there from the cast talking about the film, and you know, just all the things that we would always talk about. You know, how Kevin Bacon would always kind of be like, "Oh shit, my career is going to hell in a handbasket because I'm doing I'm doing horror films now." Like when he had done
Friday the
Friday the
13th.
13th and then Tremors, and so it's like, you know, he always kind of looked down on those films, and so it's kind of funny just seeing him now in a documentary just talking about that Tremors. And then I know Josh, like I said, you were a big fan. It was something that you and Max watched all the time, and something that he
Yeah,
loves.
it's one of my faves. The whole series, man. So I loved every single one of
Yeah.
them.
You know, not to, you know, poke fun at you, Josh, but like when I think of the Tremors series, like it pretty much represents you as a person. Like it just slowly goes downhill, and like gets cheesier and cheesier, and those are totally your movies.
Thanks, Dave. You saying I'm going downhill?
I meant more like your taste in movies, but if you want to go there too, I guess. No, like I thought about like the last Tremors movie was like so cheesy,
I
but
thought
you
we were
probably love
friends,
that
Dave.
shit
I
too.
thought we were friends.
See, like when you started
And that
this,
wraps it up for horror
like
news.
you like Tremors, which is like a decent movie, and then you slowly went down to Ice Age or whatever the fuck that was. All right.
I see.
So what's up next? Hey, that brings us to Sunday streaming, right?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
Way to follow the script.
Just messing with you, dude. Sunday
Oh,
stream.
wait a minute. Yours is up first, Dave.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, it is Sunday streams then, if I get to talk. All right, so I don't have much to say about this film, but I'm glad Josh knows a little bit about it. So my Sunday streaming pick was like 3 weeks ago. It was the movie Jack-O. This is a movie that was made in the 80s, and I cannot remember what year exactly. It was a trash movie, if you ask me my opinion, but it did have Linnea Quigley in it, which is cool. That does give it like one step up in my book. However, this is totally a Josh movie right here. This is not something I really wanted to watch. I wanted to like it because I was like, I'm sorry, dude.
It's funny that you say that because I know so much about this movie. I was like, oh, I can't believe Dave watched this. That's so awesome.
Oh man, sorry to
it's
disappoint.
funny. Yeah, it's funny because I tried turning it on, checking it out, and I'm like, yeah, no, take it easy.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Yeah. I looked at the poster and I was like, oh man, this is going to be the best movie to like get into the Halloween spirit with. I was like, it was, I'm trying to like, get myself into it. And I started watching. I was like, what the hell is this crap? And then in my head, the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, this sucks. Josh definitely watched this. And then I asked him today as we were preparing for this, and guess what, everyone? Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, so this actually came out in the mid-90s.
Oh, it was mid-90s. I said 80s. I don't even know.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, it's legendary, and it's legendary for two reasons. Number one, it was John Carradine was in it, and he died in 1998 or 1988. Not so he died like literally 5 or like 7, something like that. Like he died years and years before this movie was made. So it was his last on-screen performance, even though he died like 7 years before the movie was released. So that's pretty amazing. It was actually released 2 years after it was made. I think it was made in 93 and released in 95. The writer and the director hated each other. Somebody said they did a documentary on it, or they did whatever they do with the Blu-ray when they interview them or whatever, and they talk over the film, and they were fighting and walked out. Yeah. And the big thing is, Tim Burton actually came forward and said that Jack was based on this character, Jack-O. So Jack Skeleton was based on Jack-O. So Tim Burton liked it. So if Tim Burton liked it, Mr. Horror Snob.
Then Josh approves of it if Tim Burton likes it.
That's it. If Tim Burton, everyone loves Jack Skeleton, but nobody likes Jacko. So there you go. So
You made that up.
that's all I got on that film.
All right, let me ask you, did you like it?
No.
Oh, all right. Are you being honest? Are you being honest with us right now?
Yeah, it started out good. Some of the kills were good, but it was really like wishy-washy with the it's a slasher, but it's supernatural, and like there was I don't know. It felt like I was watching I don't know, American Horror Story, where they have like 9,000 things at once going on, and you don't really.
Dude, that's so weird. I heard American Horror Story was based on Jacko.
Could be.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't the best.
No.
So anyway, yeah. And that are you all done with that, Dave? Because
Josh, you know what? I spent 5 minutes talking about it, and it's 5 minutes too many. You
what'd
can
you
go.
post it for then, man? Come on. That was great.
Oh, I will say, let me just say one last thing about Jacko. The poster art for Jacko is the only good thing about it. It has a cool cover.
And see, hence Jack Skeleton. So there you go. Which goes into my next movie, totally not related whatsoever, which was Deliria, released here as Stage Fright. It's an Italian film, one of Dave's giallo films.
Giallo. Is this considered a giallo? Is this considered a giallo?
It is. It is
cool.
Actually. I was heavily into these in the 90s, and Michelle.
How into it were you?
Too much. I don't want to.
Okay.
But all these Italian films, they're really cool because all the actors are in every other Italian horror film. And this was the first directorial debut of Michele Savani. And he was the understudy of Dario Argento. He was like his understudy, and this was his first solo project. And he had done a bunch of stuff. He worked on Della Morte Dell'Amore, which is another one of my favorites, The Church. He acted in like opera,
and A Nightmare Before Christmas.
We're off that topic, Dave. Come on.
Oh, my bad. my bad.
Yeah, and it gets better. This film in particular, you watch it and all these girls are running around in their bras and underwears through the whole thing. And it doesn't really make sense why until you realize that George Easterman wrote it. I don't know if that rings a bell with you guys, but he acted in such classics as Erotic Nights of the Living Dead and Porno Holocaust. He was that guy who would just write himself into movies so he could have sex with hot chicks, pretty much. So, yeah. George Easterman wrote it, and they were probably supposed to be naked for the whole movie, but they put bra and underwear on them. So George Easterman he's a messed up Italian dude who just
trying to get that R rating.
Oh, well, he had the X rating on everything. He really pushed it to Porno Holocaust is legit like, porn, so he really pushed that film as far as he could go. So everything he touches is kind of sleazy. But this film was very beautiful. The killer was cool. You did a post about the killer, right?
I did. My profile of the killer, because he is a cool bird man, so why not, right?
Yeah, it was like this film was probably one of the better like films to come out of Italy. Not as good as Della Morte Dell'Amore, but it's a standalone film and it's pretty solid. The story's pretty good. The acting was pretty good. Irving Wallace was awesome. Like he's, wears the bird head, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so with my choice, I had picked the 1989 film, The Terror Within. So if you're a big fan of Alien, you're going to hate this film. So I kind of checked this film out. I found it on Tubi. And so I was sitting there watching this film like, damn, I don't like this film that much, but I'm pretty sure Josh will love it. And so, like, yeah, this could probably be one of his "it's so bad it's good" films. So, like, I'm sitting there watching this movie, and I'm just like, "What the fuck is going on with this film?" And it's like aliens, but it's like mixed with like gargoyles. So like every like fucking 10 minutes of the film, they're saying it's a gargoyle. Gargoyles are coming, and like, what the fuck is this? And then so like at the end, it has like a big payoff. It has this like creepy looking gargoyle monster. It kind of looks like Pumpkinhead a little bit. And so I had checked out what was it, Letterbox,
Yeah.
the app that we use, and I was sitting there, I'm like, let me see what people think about this fucking film. And so, people fucking hate it, and there's some people that love it. That there was some people talking about it. It's like a film that's based on like being in space, and then when it's like they're in this big bunker, but they're like on land. And so it's like, what the fuck? Like, is this film supposed to be in space or whatever? And they're like running around outside. And it's a weird film, but I'm pretty sure Josh will love it. So if you guys haven't checked it out yet, Josh, I'm pretty sure it'll probably be one of your fucking favorite films ever made.
It actually was not my favorite film. The acting was
this?
pretty stale. Of course.
Okay.
I got the VHS, dude.
You got the VHS collected series. This shit.
The monsters look cool, like or the gargoyles as they call them.
Autographed by the gargoyle.
Yeah. It was autographed by the blonde hair guy with the spiked hair, the one that had the dog. My daughter came out. She's like, "He's cute." I'm like, "The hell out of here." Yeah, that was a terrible.
I think our streaming Sundays are going to turn into Josh's "so bad it's good" reviews.
I know. It honestly like kind of is in a way.
It's funny that like all three of these, like I have on some form. Oh, actually, I don't have the VHS of Jacko anymore. It got stolen.
Wait, you have the VHS of Stage Fright?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So someone stole Jacko from you?
Yeah.
Gotta get my hand on Jacko.
Who the fuck's gonna steal that?
You know what? I don't know. Somebody stole it though. Who would like? Honestly, come on. I had
Jacko, the only one I'm missing from my collection.
Yeah, it is what it is. But speaking of so bad, it's good.
Oh, wait, Josh. We totally forgot to say where our films were streaming. So Jacko is on Amazon Prime.
Oh, Stage Fright. I actually found that on YouTube. And I watched it again on YouTube. I didn't even break out the VHS.
Stage Fright is also on Shudder, I believe. If nothing.
Oh, see, I don't have Shudder, so I go for the other one.
Josh, you have Shudder.
Oh, I have Shudder. See, I have Shudder.
Yes, we have Shudder.
Come on, man.
Why am I not logged into this? Why don't you guys tell me this stuff? I just found out like yesterday that if you do an Instagram story and you pull the music away, it doesn't have to show.
You can also do that with the hashtag, so please don't put the hashtag in the middle of the story.
What? You could do that?
Oh my god.
Why don't you guys tell me this? See, you're on the social media, me not so much.
All right. Oh yeah, you're not on social media, so can you do your weekly So Bad It's Good post?
Yes. See, I started to, and then you guys totally threw me under the bus. So the first one was Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town. This is a trauma movie.
I would say.
Love it.
It's definitely a trauma movie.
It's real bad, but it's got some really like famous actresses in it. I can't think of them offhand.
Roshan?
Yeah, I think she was in it.
Yeah, she's in like I feel like she's in so many trauma movies though.
She's in like every Z grade horror movie that was ever made. But this one was pretty cool. The Chopper Chicks were a tough gang. Everyone hated them, and then zombies came out, and then they all loved them because they fought the zombies. That's pretty much it. The zombies
Coming of age tale, really.
Yeah, I mean, the zombies look like they just fell in a cosmetic store. Like they looked terrible, but it was funny at the time that I watched it. You know, I'm going back to the early 90s. I did roll out my VHS a couple weeks ago, which prompted me to make the post.
Cool.
It's one of those. It's like a car crash. You just have to watch it. So, I assume you guys haven't seen it.
You'd be assuming correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I went through a phase of loving trauma movies. So like that was like my thing. I tried to get into as many as possible. So, from like what is it? Redneck Zombies, all the around that time. And I just fell off. Like it fell off for me. Like I just kind of lost my zeal with all the trauma movies, but I still have a little soft spot for them. So I'd be willing to check some of them out.
Yeah, I go in and out with them.
Yeah.
Right, Brandon? Killer Condom.
Killer Condom, the fucking worst movie ever fucking made. All set. Don't put that on in my house.
How about hey Josh? You ever seen Hanger?
No.
I got a So Bad Is Good for you.
Dave throwing out some for me. Look at that.
All right, I'll tell you about it later.
And then
save it. I don't want to spoil anything about it.
Oh, please don't. Please don't. Just mail me the bootleg copy. You can just leave it under my doormat. That's usually where I get my bootleg movies.
All right.
That's where I got Toxic Zombies.
Cool.
I actually ordered the uncut version of that from the overseas bootleg company Midnight Video. One of the best shot on VHS movies ever. It's about some pot farmers, and the government crop dusts them to kill their crops, and then they end up covered in white powder and go absolutely berserk. The guy that flies the plane attacks his wife. It's a bizarre movie, but it's really gory for a shot on VHS $5 budget. The gore was great. The acting, obviously, not so much. The zombies look like turds, but they do. It's terrible. Throw some green paint on a guy and he's a zombie, that kind of thing. Yeah. But the premise of the movie was good. The blood and guts were good. And it's just one of those movies, it literally is. It's so terrible that I love it. And I've watched it numerous times. My bootleg VHS is wearing out at this point. It's just one of those movies I really love.
Sounds like a treasure.
It is. It is.
It's a real treasure.
I hope nobody steals it. I hope no one steals it from you, Josh.
You better not put it where Jacko was.
I got that one under lock and key.
All right, Josh. Well,
it's under my pillow. No one's going to go there for it.
That was a enlightening segment of So Bad It's Good. And there was nothing good about those films from what you described, but I'm sure somebody will check them out. Hopefully. All right. Sorry, Josh. Those were awesome, dude. Awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody check them out because me and Brandon won't. So moving on to beers and scares. The first one was all right. So the movie's called Willow Creek. I'm going to talk about that in a second. The beer was called Great Divide Pumpkin Yeti. Great Divide is a brewery out of Denver, Colorado. Pumpkin Yeti is they have this Yeti beer that. So, all right. So I get to the freaking register with this one can. All right. One can of beer. The dude charges me $14. And I look at the dude. I say, you freaking kidding me? What? No, do you just charge me for a 4-pack of these? And he goes, no, that's for the can. I'm like, what? So I go back. I get a manager. She's like, no, that's the right price.
Say, hold on, wait a minute.
Luckily, another can that I had was dented. So they're like, I'll give that one to you for free. I'm like, all right, deal. So I bought this $14 can, which I'm like, that's crazy.
2 for 1.
These are I guess they're barrel aged. I guess I'm assuming. I forget the description of this because this was 3 weeks ago now, and I'm drunk all the time these days. So everything blends together. But yeah,
that's
so I think
what happens when you go to the bucket, Dave.
Yeah. So this is a stout. Like I said, I think it's barrel aged, but I would have to double check on that. But it's it had pumpkin spice flavor to it, so it's kind of like a pumpkin spice latte or some shit. Super delicious. A lot of coffee flavor to it, so very good. I would definitely recommend it, but not at $14 a can. So if you can get it for cheaper, or get a friend to buy it, and then you can share it with that friend.
Or
That's how I would go.
just fucking dent the can.
Yeah, dent the can.
And you get one for free.
Drop it, or actually no,
What is
bring
that?
a tiny hammer and just lightly bang it while you're going to grab it out of the. Yeah, no, crazy though, crazy. All right, so getting onto the movie though. All right, so we got Pumpkin Yeti, and then the movie. So I wanted something that had to do with like Bigfoot or Yetis or whatever. So I got this found footage film called Willow Creek. Really cool fact about this is it was directed by, I'm going to say his name wrong because I can't say it, Bobcat Gold stuff. Gold. You guys know what I'm talking about? The guy from
Gold stuff. Gold Dust?
Bobcat Goldthwait?
Yes.
Gold Dust make this film?
I had no idea. Goldthwait was awesome.
So I looked at it, I'm like, Bobcat directed this? This is bizarre. Because, I mean, all right, so like for younger people, you might not know that name. I'm urging you, Google his name and stand up, and you will see there is a stand up on YouTube from him in his 20s. It was his first stand up on David Letterman. He is criminally insane. Like literally, he's like making bizarre noises. He's talking about murdering his girlfriend and being, insanely depressed. He's absolutely insane, but he's like oddly hilarious. And the fact that he made this found footage film is so weird. So I discovered two things while I was watching this. One was, while I find him very funny, I find him oddly sad. So like I felt sad for him as I'm watching his stand-up. But the second thing is I also realized like I kind of really, really like urban legends like Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster and shit like that. So like as I'm watching it, I'm like, I kind of actually love this. I would totally. So a couple go on a road trip to go to where Bigfoot's like footage was originally filmed in, this park, this in the woods, the forest or whatever. And when they get there, like they're kind of like urged to turn around. It's a really touristy town or whatever. Everything the town is about Bigfoot. But when they actually try to go to the filming location, people are telling them to turn around. They're kind of getting bullied, and they decide they're going to go around everybody and like still do it anyway. And then, as you guys can probably imagine, like Bigfoot or whatever it is ends up like harassing them in the woods, and it's pretty freaking scary. Not a whole lot happens in the film, but like for me, it was more about like, I actually really would love to do what they did. Like, I don't know, going to a town that's all about Bigfoot or any of these urban legends sounds pretty cool. I thought it was actually a pretty cool film for what it was. Like it's like Blair Witch, sort of, but like without like the payoff that Blair Witch gives you. I mean, it was a small payoff, but I don't think it like really met like to the criteria of like something like Blair Witch. So yeah, that was Willow Creek. I'm assuming you guys haven't seen this one, right?
I have not watched all of it. I remember you recommended it to me, and then I had put it on, and then I got caught up with something and kind of shut it off.
Yeah, it's another one that like if you're not a huge found footage film person either, you're probably going to find it kind of boring because there's a lot of setup. The one thing I will say is like the couple that they got to the actors that they got to play the couple were like likable and like they had good chemistry. So like for me it was like kind of easy just to go along with them for this little ride of like exploring Bigfoot, and they started interviewing people. So I thought they did a pretty good job for what it was. All right, so my second film, so I got The Ranger with Voodoo Ranger Atomic Pumpkin. So a lot of you guys are probably familiar with Voodoo Ranger beers from New Belgium Brewery. This is like Voodoo Ranger is like a whole theme that they have going on, but this Atomic Pumpkin is like a spicy pumpkin. I think it has like I think it's habanero pepper added to the pumpkin ale, so it's got a little bit of kick to it. It's actually really good. New Belgium is kind of like one that you can get at pretty much any store. So I wasn't expecting too much from it, but I thought it was like a nice little variation of the normal pumpkin ale. So I was definitely enjoying that. But I went with the Voodoo Ranger because I saw that it was Jeremy Holmes' birthday that day. So Jeremy Holmes is the Ranger from the movie, the Shudder original, The Ranger, that came out in 2018. So I thought the Voodoo Ranger was a nice little homage to him. So I wanted to like pay him that little shout out right there. So for those of you who are not familiar, The Ranger is like about some kind of like misfit punks who get into some trouble in their hometown, so they decide to flee. One of them has like a cabin in the woods or something almost, and while they're there, they end up getting terrorized by a park ranger who has a connection with one of them, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's a cool little film. But I think Jeremy Holmes does an amazing job as this ranger. He's pretty terrifying and intense, which I think when you look at his face, you expect him to be intense. And then when he actually talks, he's actually a super nice guy. Brandon and I got the opportunity to meet him a couple of years ago. And I think we kind of like were taken back with like how super friendly this dude is. And he's kind of like the type of person you want to meet at a convention or something, because he actually wants to talk to people and wants to like, you're not just asking him questions, but then he starts asking you questions or whatever. So super nice guy. But Brandon,
cool.
You saw the Ranger too, right?
Yeah, it was a good film. Not bad. Yeah, it's streaming on Shudder, so if you guys haven't seen it, like Dave said, check it out. It's worth the watch.
Josh, have you seen it?
No, but the whole time you were talking, I was thinking of the porn star, but that was John Holmes, and it didn't occur to me until like a minute ago when you're like, "Oh, we met him," and I was like, "What?" And then I'm like, "Oh, that's not him."
No, it's Holm. It's HOLM.
Wrong guy. Sorry, but I do appreciate your pumpkin ales. That's very basic bitch of you, Dave. That's all pumpkin, dude.
I'm just gonna stare at you right now, even though I can't see you. Your screen is blank.
I love it. You know what? I'm jealous because I don't drink.
All right. Well, anyways, I got one more I'm gonna do real quick. So, Stakeland is the film, and I met that with a Catskill Brewery Barkaboom Oktoberfest. So, not a pumpkin beer, Josh. The reason why I chose this beer is because Stakeland was filmed partly in Pennsylvania, but then partly in the Catskills of New York, which I have taken a couple of rides out to recently. And it's a mountainous area. There's been some nice foliage. There's a lot of just rundown shit over there, so it makes sense why they would film in that area. But this was a pretty awesome Oktoberfest beer. I really, really enjoyed it. It's like super smooth. That brewery is like really nice, and I wasn't really expecting any like amazing beers to come out of there, but I had a couple from this brewery alone, Catskill Brewery, and awesome. I would definitely go back there. I look forward to eventually going back there. And Stakeland is one that I know Brandon had recommended to me like years and years ago, and I thought this movie was awesome. It's got what is his name? Nick D'Amico. And then it's got Danielle Harris. It's like a vampire movie, but it's like, I don't know, it's gritty. It's like, it's got this like grit to it because, they're like, it's got a little bit of like end of the world type themes to it too. So I don't know, Brandon, can you help me a little bit with Stakeland if you recall it?
Yeah. I just actually watched the first one again the other day. It's like a cool little vampire film, nothing crazy. But it's definitely kind of like a student and a teacher type, kind of like Karate Kid type film, but like vampires. Like when it comes on, the kid loses his family, and then like you said, Nick kind of helps him out, and he like takes him under their wing and tries to teach him like how to survive and everything like that. So it's a cool film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's streaming. I forgot what it's streaming on, but I watched it the other night again. It's like definitely one of my go-to films.
Yeah, I think part 2 is on Shudder, and I think part 1 is, I can't remember where it is. I've seen it streaming somewhere, but I also want to give him a little shout out. The main guy, Nick D'Amico, if that's how you say it, but like he also did Mulberry Street, which I really liked. I might have talked about it in one of our first podcasts, but like He's picking some cool horror movies to do. I know those are both older films now, but like, I wouldn't mind if that was my film catalog, Stakeland. Like, I would want to be proud of the movies that I do, and those are two really cool like indie horror movies, or like lower, like more like lesser known horror movie, but they're really well done. So
yeah, I'm actually impressed with your beer selection. I just never drank anything pumpkin in my life.
hey,
I can't imagine that would be good.
They're good, and I just like doing my best to connect them with these movies. Some weeks I literally think about it for days, so it's kind of sad.
I gotta say, you matched them pretty well. Like the words, they sound like they go together. Good job, Dave. Good job.
Thank you, Josh.
Went all the way to New York for a hooch this week.
I did. Look at none of that was in Woonsocket or Pawtucket. You guys should be proud of me.
You know what? I went all the way to Vermont to get pie, so there we go.
There you go.
Yeah. So are we on to the slept on?
Yeah. Let's get into some slept on Saturday.
Yeah, slept on Saturday. I love doing these. Love it. Who's up first on these? I can't see.
So I'll go. I'll start it off. So
thanks, Brandon.
My pick for the slept on Saturday film, no problem, is full moon feature again. So we're going to run with the Subspecies, 1991 film. Definitely a slept on horror vampire film. Josh, you've seen it before, right?
Yeah, it was pretty badass.
Yeah, so I know there's 4 films, and they also have like a spin-off. So it wasn't bad. It's definitely a film that, like, if you like vampire films, definitely check it out. It's definitely slept on. It was shot in Romania, so it has that authentic feel. And I just thought it was just a full moon feature that was done well. So, Josh, what did you think about the other films? Did you see them, or did you just see the first one?
I saw all of them, but I don't remember a lot of them. So they couldn't have been super good. And I hate to say that, but I don't know. Like, Radu was really cool, really cool character. And the first one sticks out in my mind, and then I rewatched it when you posted it because I was like, oh, I forgot how good that was. And then when I rewatched it, I was like, well, it's not as good as I remember. And I can't even remember the next 3. I got them mixed up with Wishmaster, so that's my bad.
No, okay.
But yeah, this one, I actually like. This was one of the ones I had on VHS a long time ago, and I used to watch it over and over. So it was a pretty good pick for me.
Yeah, like I thought, like, with the special effects and everything like that, it was kind of cheesy, but like the little demons running around, like the computer animated stuff back then. So that was like 1991. But I thought that, like, the makeup and everything, the way that they made Radu look was actually really cool. So it always stuck out to me when I was younger, like that vampire film with the vampire with the long fingers. So
the long fingers freak me out, man.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? His fucking fingers like fell off and shit, and like became demons and shit. Yeah, it just has that Romanian feel to it. It's like an authentic vampire film. Like you said, it's definitely cheesy in certain ways, but it's definitely a slept on vampire pick. So if you guys haven't seen it, check it out.
I'll go next with my slept on. I picked the 1977 film Rituals. It was also called The Creeper. I have it in a box set under The Creeper. So it was.
Sometimes you get that mixed up with your homemade porns.
Dave, I told you not to tell anybody. See, I pick on you for your hooch, and you pick on my homemade porn. We got a good thing going, Dave.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so Rituals was about 5 doctors who went on a vacation every year, and this is probably one of the best backwoods killer movies ever.
Really?
Yeah, it's paced kind of slow. It's got a slow burn, but then when it hits you, you're like, what the fuck? It actually won some awards, and it's got some really good actors. Like I think Lawrence Dane is in this. He was good. Robin Gimmel was in it. Hal Holbrook, I think it was. He was in it, and he took up like a third of the budget. They literally paid him almost the whole budget just to get him in the movie. And yeah, the acting was phenomenal. The story was phenomenal. Like the kills were phenomenal. Like they lit a guy on fire. Like the killer, he's an ex-military. He's just all super messed up. He lit a guy on fire, one of the doctors, and they show him burning for like 30 minutes. It was just insane. So, yeah, it was great movie. Great movie. And you know what it was? It was re-released in the 80s under the Creeper. That's what it was. That's why I have the Creeper.
Is it streaming anywhere?
I have no idea. I'm sure it is. It was such a good movie. Like it's one of those underground horror movies, but it won some awards, like legit awards, because of all the name actors that were in it. So I'm pretty sure it would be streaming somewhere.
Cool. Dude, if you're into backwoods, have you checked out the Wrong Turn movies yet? Or I know we talked about those a while ago, but like those are the best backwoods movies, as voted on by the followers during their follower pick of the week.
You know what?
And I approve of them.
There was not one vote for Rituals, so just saying.
That's why it's a slept on.
Yeah,
we gotta bring that out.
Josh, good rebuttal, my good man.
Oh, see that? I'm on my game.
Yeah. No, you're just getting defensive finally about trying to chat on these. So I guess that's good too. I don't know. It's cool.
That brings us to Monster Monday. That's me, right?
It sure is.
I can't even read what I have down. I'm sorry. I picked Komodo. Yeah, Komodo was a 90s film. It was super awesome. The guy that made it, I can't think of his name offhand. I should probably take notes. You know what I mean? The guy that made it, he wanted to do something that was realistic, something that could actually happen. I read an interview about it one time. I think it was in Fangoria, and he said, it's cool when kids see this on TV and they're like, "Hey, mom, can this really happen?" Yes, it can. So that was pretty cool. Basically, there's an island where Komodo dragons flip out and start eating people. They eat this kid's parents, and he goes absolutely berserk.
Hey, mom, can this really happen?
Yes, yes, it can.
The kid's like,
you know
cool,
what?
Let's go to this island.
Yeah, Komodos are freaking huge, dude. In real life, they're legit huge. They made them obviously a little bigger for the screen, but what sets this movie apart is the kid. The kid's like a teenager, and he's a scrawny little kid. He's got to be like $150, and he starts going ape shit. And it's like a guy and a lady and a guy trying to fight these Komodos, and they're all this suspense, and the Komodo almost gets him but doesn't. And then this kid comes out, and he's like slaying these fucking Komodos like it's no tomorrow, like he's a ninja. And the Komodos are like bigger than him by like 1,000 pounds, and he's like tying them up and cutting out their hearts and all kinds of shit. Totally made the movie so off the wall. You guys highly recommended. Such a messed up movie. I assume you guys never watched it.
Nah, you assume correct, man.
Yeah, I've never seen that in my life.
Well, you're in luck. I got the VHS. But
another film that also could be true was also Human Centipede.
Yeah. I actually I put the video up of the doctor describing the procedure on Hard Depot like 2 years ago, and it got like 300 likes in the past 2 weeks for some reason. So there you go.
Human Centipede making a comeback, baby.
Yeah, it was really weird. So then my that brings me to the book. I alternate. 1 week I'll do a monster, the other week I'll do book of the week. And the book of the week this week was Vampire Legends of Rhode Island by Christopher Rodana. I think it was Christopher Rodana wrote that book. Really short book. It was like 75 pages, but it was really cool because we live in Rhode Island, and it was all the vampires of Rhode Island. All the vampires you've heard about, and probably tons you have not heard about. It really went in depth. It actually had newspaper clippings from the Journal, which is the longest running paper in Rhode Island.
The Providence.
Yeah, yep. Back in the 1900s and 1800s and stuff, like actual clippings.
Horror Journal.
Yeah, that's it.
Longest running horror journal.
We should start that. Be like the lowest budget newspaper in Rhode Island. Yeah, so it was really cool to read up on local legends, and it was very well researched, very well done. He's got interviews in there, like actual newspaper articles of the events that happened. It was really cool to see how the vampires have changed. Like in Rhode Island legend, when somebody dies, they come back as a spirit and then suck the life out of them, out of their family members. And it was really interesting to see that. Every case was pretty much the same. And then they would dig them up and rip out their heart and burn it, cut their head off, and just mad insanity. So it was really cool book. Real short, but real good. So
shout out Mercy Brown.
Yep. Yeah. It went into, man, I wish I had it in front of me. I can't remember all of them, but it did go into, yep. It went into, actually that lineage had a couple of vampire incidents, and then they moved to Connecticut. And it's funny, the Rhode Islanders moved to Connecticut across the border and brought all their vampire shit with them. So it was cool to see that too. All the local Rhode Islanders messing up Connecticut.
So I had like years ago, I had gone around and I had tried to find the tombstones of all like the legends that I had like heard about at least. So I checked out like the Tillinghast family, which was like it was almost on someone's property. I think when I went to go visit those tombstones, the family's tombstones, the guy that like lives on the edge of the property was like doing something in his yard. So it was like kind of awkward. I've been to Mercy Brown. I work down the road from Mercy Brown graves. I've gone there many times. There's another one. I'm trying to remember what it was. It's over on it's at a meeting house. I cannot remember the freaking name of it. And then there's one in Smithfield that I just went to last year, and I can't remember the name of that guy either. But yeah, and it's quite a bit. We have a pretty extensive history of vampires in Rhode Island.
We actually have the highest vampire, like factual vampire stories in all the United States. So there you go.
Cool. Very cool feature.
Oh,
there.
You know what? The guy's from Rhode Island, so if that guy is still around, man,
when you say
his
around,
name.
Do you mean like
Christopher Rodana?
Like in
actually
life?
Lives in Rhode Island, so if he's out there, reach out to us.
I get what you're
if
saying.
anybody knows that guy.
Okay. I didn't know what you meant when you said around, but okay, I got you. Next up is our follower pick of the week. This is when all you little horror ghouls and ghosts. That sounds ridiculous. You guys all like, I don't know. You guys like, let me know what you guys think of the questions I ask, the ridiculous questions I ask. So our first one was asking you guys what film best captures the fall season. And as you guys probably guessed, actually, no, I didn't guess. I would have guessed a different film, but this one was right up there too. You guys picked Trick or Treat. This one definitely captures the Halloween feel. I think in each of the films in this anthology, they got pumpkins everywhere. They're, trick-or-treating, they're decorating, whatever. It just, totally feels like Halloween fall season. Definitely a great pick. But I want to ask you guys, and I'll give mine at the end. What film do you guys feel captures the fall season or gets you guys in the mood for the fall season? Brandon, I'll start off with you.
Well, I'll go first. Well, since I got this like collector's edition movie called Jacko, I definitely start off like each fall season with that film.
Sure, for sure.
Price is now up to $15
for the fall season. I got to build it up if I'm trying to sell this shit. But then, no, but it's definitely Halloween. Halloween's definitely one of my go-to films around this time. Even like Season of the Witch Part 3.
I always break out Hollow Gate, which isn't really a well-known film, but one of my all-time faves.
Gosh, I was just this is the film I was just asking you about, right?
Yeah.
Do you have it on
Yeah,
VHS?
I got if you want to borrow it, let me know.
Yes.
Yeah, I watch that not every year, but a lot. It's one of my old school faves for the Halloween season. Not a really good film. It looks good, but it's okay. And then I watch the Spooky Skeletons all the time. The dance, the old cartoon from the 20s where the skeletons dance, and the owl, and he's like, "Woo!" I watch that with Max every year. So that's usually what we do before we go trick-or-treating. So we have done that for 10 years. This will be the 10th year that we've done that. So
very cute, man. Very cute. As far as like movies that get me in the fall season, I'm with Brandon though, as far as the Halloween movies. So one thing that like always sticks in my mind about going trick-or-treating or even just Halloween night is having USA that used to do like Shocktober, and it would, they always would just play the original Halloween on Halloween. So I always kind of associate that with Halloween, obviously. But also, like more recently, I found myself watching Halloween 4. And somebody did vote for this when we did it. It was like that opening scene of like of Haddonfield is like, it's amazing. It's like it just captures the fall season perfectly. It's like everything about that. It's like a dreary day. There's all like these Halloween decorations in the town. If you have never noticed it, like watch Halloween 4 and go back and like just pay attention to that opening sequence. It is really good. But yeah, so I thought that was after I was done, I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool question to get like responses of, because some people really, gave some interesting ones. So I know Trick or Treat was a great response, but some of the other ones I got were like, I was a little surprised about. And then the next follower pick was, what is the best Vincent Price film? So, I mean, there's a crap load of Vincent Price films. I guess this was like kind of expected. It got a pretty overwhelming reply, but I actually, this question got the most replies that I've gotten in months. People really love Vincent Price for obvious reasons. The dude is a freaking legend. He really like encompasses Halloween to me. You hear his voice and you just think all things spooky. But the film that everybody picked was House on Haunted Hill, which is an absolute classic. And I'm hoping
I agree.
I imagine you guys both seen House on Haunted Hill. I just recently learned a cool fact about House on Haunted Hill, which I didn't know. So I don't know if any of you guys have watched that Cursed Films that is on Shudder, but it's also now on AMC. It's a series that started on Shudder, but now it's, like I said, it's on AMC. But it's like taking movies that have like known like these like folklore of like curses around them, and they discuss them in detail. So like The Exorcist or whatever. But they did a Poltergeist episode, and there's the whole theory of the Poltergeist films being cursed. And one of those theories is because the use of actual skeletons, like real life skeletons that they used in the scene and like when she goes into the pool. And then they said it's actually not uncommon for them to use real human skeletons in films because they're cheaper than actually recreating a skeleton to make it look lifelike. So in House of Haunted Hill, when you see that dangling skeleton, that's a real human skeleton. That's not just a prop.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't realize that. It totally, I mean, I always assumed it was a prop. So hearing that, I thought was pretty cool. But then I also that also leads me to one more thing I want to tell you guys. So a little bit of like confession for myself is I realized last year I'd never actually seen Poltergeist either. And this has nothing to do with House on Haunted Hill. So I just watched
The original?
Yeah, I just watched it for the
man.
first time the other day. Growing up, I always thought I saw it, but then I realized last year I only saw Poltergeist 3. I thought part 3 was part 1 when I was a kid. I didn't know.
The original?
Yeah, because
Wait a minute. Was that your big news?
That was my big news.
Oh, now I owe Brandon $10. I thought you were gonna come out of the closet.
Yeah.
It's coming out month, man. Our fans are disappointed.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, dudes. I mean, everybody.
Yeah,
No, sorry, everybody. Not just.
Well, that's good. So, what did you think of it?
Oh, I liked it a lot, actually. But I'm not gonna lie, I loved part 3. I thought part 3 was good. All right, so there was a couple parts I was like, the tree is cheesy, and the clown. It was like I thought there was gonna be more with that clown because in like the remake, the clown is like the poster of the remake. So I thought the clown had a big part, and it like had this one part.
Well, that was always a part that stuck out when we were kids, you know what I mean? Like, because like when you try to go to bed and that fucking clown that just like creepy, just sitting in the chair, just like, you know what I mean? Like when you're a kid and you have like a chair and then you have fucking folded clothes, like hanging up or your closet in your room. That's what it kind of like represented.
Even
so, of course, Dave, now that you're 35 years old, how old you are, watching Poltergeist for the first time, it's not going to hit the same.
Yeah, I guess it didn't. Well, even that Cursed Films, the guy like had one of the guys they interviewed had the clown doll, and he's like, "Oh, people see this and they're like, why would you ever want that in your house?" So I was expecting it to be something scary. I mean, but it is what it is. It's still a good film. I liked it a lot. I was actually struck by, I didn't realize how much of a Steven Spielberg movie that was, but it has all the feels of like E.T. and like typical Steven Spielberg, like kid, his kid-based movies where it's like the music and I don't know. It just had the feels of like E.T. to me or something like that. I don't know.
Here's a little known fact about that film. Walmart actually is able to edit their films.
Yeah.
And they usually don't edit horror movies, but they did edit that film. If you buy it at Walmart, the clown scene is actually cut, as well as like 2 or 3 other scenes on the Walmart release DVD. I actually, somebody picked it up for me and I watched it, and there's a couple of blue screens throughout the movie. So whoever edited it obviously did not do a very good job. But it's legit, like, I think a minute and a half shorter than every other version. So I don't know why the Walmart one is edited, but it is. So if you're listening, don't buy Poltergeist at Walmart. Apparently they edited it. And if I'm mistaken, Walmart, you can feel free to reach out to PVD Horror and correct me, but I bought the DVD and I returned it because it was edited.
Oh, cool. All right. So those were our follower picks of the week. Thank you to everybody who votes religiously and gives me long write-ups about the films. You guys are awesome. Doom Buggy 72. You are amazing at writing these things. Brandon, I don't know did you check out how long that was and like how much effort that like he put towards that one? I was like the last one.
Yeah. Now, you had to put that up in the story, right?
I did because I had to edit, like I had to trim down a lot of the long ones. But that dude, like he's done this a few times, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. Like that he takes the time to write those, and he's not the only one, but like that one just stuck out because it was last week. Like that's cool when you guys do that. So I really appreciate it, and I'm glad to be able to put that in the story so people can see the the effort. Just a few shout outs before we wrap up today. So starting off with Dallas Jackson, the writer-director of Thriller, and Welcome to Sudden Death. We have our last episode that we did with him. It was an interview, so definitely make sure you guys check that out. Super interesting dude. Hope you guys enjoy that. Josh, you wanted to shout out a few?
Yeah, thanks, Dallas Jackson. Of course, his movie's still in the top 10 on Netflix, so that's cool. Big shout out to my brother Chuckles the Clown for having me on his show. Spur of the moment, somebody canceled. He called me up. Hey, can you promote your stuff? So I did that. Shout out to him. Shout out to Rhode Island Free Radio. They've been real cool to us, and it looks like they're going through some changes and some stuff. So I wish them all the best. And that's all I got for that.
Sounds good.
All right. I just wanted to shout out Phantasm 420, aka Amanda. Thanks for helping out with the Killer Prince, pushing those over at the Mad Monster conventions. Also wanted to shout out Angel at the Strange Show and the rest of the crew over there. Make sure you guys check out their podcast. Definitely worth the listen. You guys will definitely enjoy that. Super entertaining. And lastly, I want to shout out once again Satanic Panic 81 for theme music. Definitely check out his album Mara. That music is very, very cool. So guys, check that out. All right. So this has been quite the episode. Definitely rather long. Sorry about that, guys, but I appreciate it if you guys have made it this long.
Thanks again for listening. Glad you made it to the end. This is Joshua.
This is Dave.
And this is Brandon.
Have a good night. And to those people I say, you're boring. What are you doing with your life? You're not making film.
Rob Zombie.
I'm sitting in a parking lot in the middle of the night making a podcast.
Wow. Yeah.